Continuing our Asohka series of reviews. This time we're looking at Padawan Anakin Skywalker on Way I Got It Figured.
The way I got it figured.
What's up, figure fans? Way I Got It Figured back with another Asohka series vintage collection review. This time we're looking at young Anakin Skywalker, Padawan from Attack of the Clones. A few years before he would meet Asohka, he's still related to Asohka. And I gotta open this figure. So there you have it. Anakin Skywalker, of course, is the central figure of the prequel trilogy and the classic trilogy. So, you know, he's a big deal. This figure is a re-release of the earlier Anakin Skywalker on the same card back with the same VC. Well, actually, no, he's got a new VC number. Wrong. This is a new figure, VC244. But they did do another version of Anakin Skywalker on the Attack of the Clones card. So, of course, now that I'm wrong about that, I have to go back and find which VC number he is. And I do own another version of this figure. So, there's that. But we're going to do what we always do. Look at the figure, look at the card, and, you know, talk about it a little bit. Get some final thoughts and move on. So Anakin Skywalker is making an appearance in Asohka, as you probably have seen by now. If not, spoiler alert. And so he's making an appearance here. Asohka was trained, of course, by Anakin Skywalker, a fact that was exceedingly divisive way back when the Clone Wars movie came out, and she just sort of got dropped into all of our lives. Of course, time changes all things, and Asohka is a lot more accepted, a much more beloved character than perhaps she was when she first showed up. And I have to admit, I didn't like the idea of it. But not about necessarily Asohka. It wouldn't have mattered who it was. You know, in my mind, Anakin Skywalker never trained a Padawan. He never rose to the level of master. He never did any of that stuff. So that was my resistance to it. But, you know, Dave Filoni had the blessing of George Lucas, so what are you gonna do? Enough about that. Let's look at Anakin. So this is him at 19 years old in Attack of the Clones. And he's got his Jedi robes, his lightsaber, and he's got a removable gold hand, so you can have him be post Battle of Count Dooku. As I mentioned before, he is VC244. And the cross-sell of figures, he came out last year. So he's, you know, the cross-sell of these figures that they're showing on the back are either all figures that I own. They're pretty much all figures that I own, and several of them have gotten reviews on the channel. So Boba Fett, Morak, Reva, Anakin Skywalker now, Darth Vader, Din Djarin, they've all gotten reviews. But I own every single one of these guys. You know, for trivia. So let's get Anakin out, take a look at him, pose him up a little bit, and see what we got. All right, so we've got Anakin out of the package with his accessories on the indoor bunker. and he looks good. I like it so far. Yes, the body is definitely reuse of previous Anakin Skywalker figures, but you know, it's a good body. And one of the things, you know, that I like about this figure is the or this version of Anakin Skywalker, not necessarily the action figure, not the action figure, is the motif of him going darker and darker and darker. So if you have like the Padawan version of Anakin Skywalker as a little kid, you know, that outfit was much lighter. Then when you see him again 10 years later, his outfit is, you know, darker and is evocative of his Sith Lord Darth Vader suit. And then in Return of the Jedi, his outfit's even darker. If I'm correct, I haven't looked at the other figures in a while, but if I'm correct, this head is a lot newer. It's a new head. I don't think it's the same head as what it was before. I mean, I have a version of this Anakin Skywalker, and this head looks completely different to me. But I might be misremembering. He definitely doesn't have this cape. So there's some new stuff to it. But it's Anakin Skywalker in his Jedi robes. And I wouldn't go as far as to call this photo real, because it doesn't look like Hayden Christensen. Not really. Looks kind of like a generic Anakin Skywalker. And of course, with his accessories, as I mentioned before, you get the unlit lightsaber hilt, the lit lightsaber, and you can replace his right hand with this droid hand. His arm was cut off by Count Dooku. So, you know, you can do post and pre, and me having another copy of this figure, I'll probably make this the post version, because he comes with a nice little hand. Which I guess I should mention that they've pipelined Count Dooku for the Vintage Collection, which is, in trivia, there's no Count Dooku in the Vintage Collection. They just never made them for the Vintage Collection. So we're finally getting one. I'm extremely happy, because the Count Dookus that are out there are decent, but nothing to write home about. So it'd be nice to get an all-new Count Dooku, or at least a Count Dooku reusing newer technology parts. So there's that. Now real quick, we'll look at the articulation of Anakin Skywalker. And he does have the standard Star Wars figure articulation. Bends at the knee. This is a plastic part of his robes, so it does impede his leg movement to a degree. Of course, he has posable ankles. Turns here, turns at the wrist. Can kind of look down, can kind of look up. It's on a ball joint, of course. Can do a T-pose, but there's no bicep swivel. They don't really do that for Star Wars Vintage Collection. His waist turns, but he doesn't have any kind of ab crunch. He's a 3 3/4 inch figure, so there you go. And you can, like I said, remove the hand, which is kind of funny how much hand is up in there. And replace it with the cybernetic hand. A little tough to get it in there. There we go. And then, of course, because it's just kind of a post, it obviously rotates. So there's articulation. So we can check to see. Sometimes these post holes for the lightsaber hilts are not the best, but let's see if Anakin has that issue. And no, he does not. So there you go, lightsaber on his belt. And lightsaber in his cyborg hand, which is, you know, really kind of unfortunate because I believe that was his dominant hand that Count Dooku severed in Attack of the Clones. But he's the chosen one, so, you know, it didn't really slow him down very much, if at all. The bionic hand is a little resistant to holding the lightsaber. A little bit. That's okay. You shouldn't be putting shouldn't be having both on them at the same time anyway, right? I'm trying to do a double-handed grip. We can just get it. Come on. Cooperate. There we go. There you go. Anakin Skywalker. Padawan. All right, moving on to final thoughts. Final thoughts on Anakin Skywalker, Padawan, VC244. I like this figure. And obviously, I bought it. It's Anakin Skywalker. You know, he definitely checks a box of an outfit for me. The one that I have does not have this cape. So, you know, not that I would buy a figure just for a cape, but to have all the looks of the characters in the movies, I kind of like that. The only ones I won't get are of Anakin and also Obi-Wan are like the ones where they were in the clone armor, because it honestly guts me. I just hate it. Just don't like it. Didn't show up on screen, so doesn't bother me to not have those. But, you know, Anakin's a serviceable figure. You know, some reuse to him, but not a bad figure. I'm going to give him an 8 out of 10. It's a pretty good figure. If you like Anakin Skywalker, you know, if you want to have a post, my arm got cut off look, this figure allows you to do that. So it does give you some display options. It's a pretty nice figure. I'm glad I got it. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Wanted to keep this one short and sweet. It's Anakin Skywalker. You know, it's not necessarily the world's most interesting action figure, but he is a Jedi. I like Jedi robes. I love the Jedi. So Definitely something that's going to go into my collection. All right, well, I'm going to leave it here. And everybody stay safe. If you're enjoying Asohka, you know, why don't we strike up a conversation in the comments about that? I'm totally loving the show. The only aspect of it so far that I'm kind of wishy-washy on is the world between world stuff. And if you see the episode, you'll know what I'm talking about. I don't necessarily hate it. I don't know. It just takes me to another level with Star Wars. But overall, I'm enjoying the show. Ray Stevenson is awesome, and they definitely seem to be going somewhere epic with it. So let's talk about it down in the comments. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, here's where I come in and say, hey, please subscribe to the channel. Like and comment. And if you already have, thanks for the comments that you have made. Thanks for the videos that you have watched. I do appreciate it, every single one. And I respond to all comments, as you probably well know. And, you know, we're just trying to grow the channel, get our voice out there a little more. Till next time, everybody stay safe, and I will see you guys on the next video. Peace.
The way I got it figured.